Yeah. I honestly stopped writing. I didn't bother with notes for this because you know most of it already. I'm going to focus on the stuff that you might not have thought about. Like, what he did to the Conservative Party was so damaging because before 2016, you could have decent arguments. Like, on the left, you'd have people saying we want more equality. On the right, you'd say, no, you're just going to let the market do its thing and it'll ultimately work out. And you could at least have decent arguments with the common ground of knowing that both sides wanted the best for people. You wanted to improve people's quality of life. You just had different ideas about how to get there. But what Boris Johnson did by pushing for Brexit knowing it would hurt people, and then even firing any Tory MP that refused to go for a no-deal Brexit. And let's be clear what no-deal Brexit is. There is no other major economy in the world that doesn't have significant amounts of trade deals with its closest neighbours. So by no-deal Brexit, we mean doing something that every successful economy on the planet has chosen specifically not to do. So he got rid of every Conservative politician that wasn't willing to completely destroy the country. So the idea of the left and right having decent, compassionate, understanding conversations about how to improve the country, that died with him. And he knew he was damaging the country because in 2011 and 2013...
London is out there. It is ahead of Dubai and Mumbai and Moscow and Buenos Aires. And that is because we have a young, growing, highly skilled population. We're not just a valued and, by the way, fully paid up member of the EU, which we will remain. And we will remain a paid up, valued, participating member of the single market. And there is under no circumstances, in my view, will a British government adjust that position.
How would you vote tomorrow if there was a referendum?
I'd vote to stay in the single market. I'm in favour of the single market. I want us to be able to trade freely with our European friends.
So this was the man that knew that his Brexit would ruin the lives of millions of people. And yet when MPs in Parliament were begging him to stop using such violent and aggressive language because it was endangering them, leading to death threats against them, this was his response.
And we stand here, Mr. Speaker, under the shield of our departed friend, with many of us in this place subject to death threats and abuse every single day. And let me tell the Prime Minister that they often quote his words, surrender act, betrayal, traitor. And I, for one, am sick of it. We must moderate our language, and it has to come from the Prime Minister first.
I have to say, Mr. Speaker, I've never heard such humbug in all my life.
As the woman who has taken over a seat that was left by our dear friend Joe Cox, can I ask him, in all honesty, as a human being, please, will he, going forward, moderate his language so that we will all feel secure when we're going about our jobs?
Is that the best way to honour the memory of Joe Cox, and indeed the best way to bring this country together would be, I think, to get Brexit done. And the best way to ensure that every parliamentarian is properly safe, and we dial down the current anxiety in this country, is to get Brexit done.
The man told an MP who only had her seat in Parliament because Joe Cox was murdered during Brexit that the best way to avoid being murdered like Joe Cox was to support his policy of Brexit. That is literally weaponizing death threats against MPs to get your own way. The man has literally zero morality. And we can talk about the racism he stoked and the bigotry that he provoked, but ultimately he doesn't care. It's all just a game for him. The question is, how did he become our Prime Minister? Because so many people in the Conservative Party just said, yeah, we'll go with this. They were all happy to stand behind that utter monster in 2019. And now that it's been an utter disaster for the country and for them, they're trying to just slink off into private life and not face the judgment of voters.